Hello, everybody, and welcome to the final PHLY Postgame Show of the regular season, presented by the good folks at Bet365. Download the Bet365 app and use code PHLY365 when you sign up, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365 as we are here to recap the Eagles closing out the regular season. Tanner McKee making it happen with a 20-13 victory over the lowly New York Giants. But most importantly, we are now ready to turn the page to the playoffs because we know the Eagles are going to play the Green Bay Packers at the LINC at some point next weekend. Much to discuss both about this game and that upcoming matchup with Vinny Curry, Jamie Lynch, and Fran Duffy. Let's go around the horn. Your big takeaways from this game. We'll start with you, Vinny. And if it's not a McKee, I'm going to be disappointed.
Oh man. First of all, hats off to McKee, man. He came in the role and just he was poised the whole game. He didn't look nervous. He didn't look like he rose to the occasion. So that was my biggest takeaway from it. And it was just great to see. And I want to say it was good to see Big 90. Big 90, I think he was second in defensive and tackles. So it was good to see him run around a little bit, right before the playoffs.
Jordan Davis is who you're talking about. Go ahead, Jamie.
My biggest takeaway was the out-of-town scoreboard.
Yeah.
And real quick, shout out to both coaches for understanding the assignment today and getting us through this process rather quickly. But my focus all day was on the out-of-town scoreboard and who the Eagles are playing next week.
All right, we're going to follow up with that quickly because this is the matchup that you preferred, and we will get to why that was the case. How about you, Fran?
I think just being able to see Dallas Goedert come out, look healthy, a big part of the passing game early on. To me, that was something that was notable. If you wanted to look for something that you wanted to see going into the postseason, 88 being healthy, looking good. That's a nice check mark.
All right, so we've got a few more things to get to as the show goes on. We're going to hear from Nick Sirianni live from the LINC. We will check in with Zach Berman towards the end of the show. And, of course, we want to hear what you think both about this game and about the matchup that is forthcoming. So make sure you let us know in the chat what you think about that. But let's start with the big thing, which is not this game. It is the matchup coming up. Now, the Green Bay Packers, and this flipped right at the very end there. It looked for a little bit like the Packers were going to be the 6th seed, and it was going to be Washington coming here. But the Bears hit a field goal. Terry McLaurin scores a touchdown. So it's going to be the Packers here. Now, Jordan Love leaves that game in the second quarter, does not return. Looked like a hand injury, but then they called it an elbow injury. And they also lose Christian Watkins, their wide receiver, in this game. And so a hampered Green Bay Packers team now coming to Philadelphia. Jamie, tell me why it is that you thought that was the preferable matchup to a third matchup with the Commanders.
I think when you play a team a third time in a season, anything's on the table. I think there's a nullified advantage for any team, and things can get weird real quick. And more so what it boils down to is Jaden Daniels kind of sends a little bit of a shiver down my spine.
Okay.
He's cool as a cucumber. Like, he seems to play his best ball when the game is on the line. Jordan Love, to me, I know he had a strong playoff performance last year. I don't think we've seen that same Jordan Love this NFL season. He throws off his back foot a lot. I think he's prone to a turnover more so than Jaden Daniels is. Basically what it boils down to is I'd rather face Jordan Love before he was injured than Jaden Daniels. The Packers are the better team, top to bottom, no doubt about that. But something about that kid scares me. He's too cool.
I think that's reasonable. But the Packers, as you said, like top to bottom,
better
probably
team.
Rated as a better team.
Definitely. Top
5 in offense and defense on DVOA, but they're obviously banged up. They're coming off a loss to Chicago. Vinny, how do you feel about this Eagles-Packers matchup?
Oh, man, I love it. Green Bay coming to Philadelphia, next weekend. Like you said, it was been banged up, and we was able to rest, some guys. this weekend. Now, go back the week before, I would say, go to the record. Now, you're playing Green Bay. I'm glad you rested. You know, that was the smartest decision ever. And so I'm excited. For next weekend, man, because I think, this is we definitely have a chance. And like he was saying, like, I'm not as nervous, just because Jordan Love is banged up.
You with me a little bit, right?
Yes,
Jane Daniels is a little too cool.
He just don't. He don't look. Jalen Davis don't get rattled.
Yeah,
that's from college to right now.
The variable
rattled this guy
of a quarterback who can run like he can against this defense.
When you really look at that game against Washington, we was really kicking their.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean.
If Jalen Hurts plays that game, you beat him.
Right, but Jalen Daniels. All right, I'll just go do my thing, and it was
3 touchdowns in the
fourth quarter. Just boom, 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 boom.
It was crazy.
Well, you mentioned that though, and that Commanders game is the last time that we saw Jalen Hurts play in a regular season game. He did not practice this week. By all accounts, he is still in the concussion protocol. Now, they said on the broadcast that he was part of the walkthrough yesterday, so that is some piece of encouragement. But we don't know yet. It's been 2 weeks. How do you feel about not knowing if Jalen's okay, Vinny?
I'll be interested to see what Zach says. That's what we were talking. I'm interested to see what he says, but I really do hope that he's okay. And the most positive news that we got is that he was in the walkthrough. Yeah. This week of practice should be very amplified for him, just to try to get back in rhythm, and his timing right back with those receivers. How
different, in your experience, is a playoff prep week than a regular season prep week?
Oh man. Is when to go home, I don't think the guys is ready for no what they call it, the Cancun trips and stuff like that. So the preparation that needs to go in this, nothing else matters, shut the outside world off, just for 5 days, until this game is over.
Fran, the Eagles season started playing against the Green Bay Packers in Sao Paulo. I mean, we don't want to say it's going to end playing against the Packers, but it is a full circle thing. What have you seen from that team? What did you see in that matchup in week one? How does it line up for you?
Yeah, I mean, this is a team that is certainly battle-tested, right? They've played in the toughest division in football. They went 1-5 in that division, right? And so it's not like they have those critical wins against some of these winning teams. The playoff teams they did beat, some of the weaker teams, that are going to make it into the postseason. They got to win over Houston. They got to win over the Rams, I believe, early on this year. But I think when you look at Green Bay, the big thing, they've got multiple ways that they can beat you offensively. Certainly on the ground, Josh Jacobs has been one of the more efficient ball carriers in football. And then they've got some dimensions to beat you in the pass game. Now, Christian Watson, we'll wait to see what the deal is with this knee injury that caused him to leave this football game here against Chicago. He is their vertical threat, their deep threat. We've seen that against the Eagles in years past, but they still have a couple of receivers that can beat you in a lot of different ways. And then defensively, the big thing with them is that they've created a lot of turnovers. That's been one of the strengths of that team. When they get to third down, they will turn the heat up on you as a passing attack. They've got the ability to stop the run. They've got talent at all three levels, but their ability to take the ball away. And Xavier McKinney, the former New York Giant, he's been a big catalyst for that defense in terms of creating those explosive plays. It will be up to Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, and that entire offense. Make sure you protect the ball against Green Bay. That was a bugaboo for them in that first game. Remember the turnovers there made that game a little bit closer than it should have been down in Sao Paulo.
And the big plays allowed on defense. That was a much different version of the Eagles defense than we have seen since the bye. So it'll be a very interesting game. Obviously, we're going to talk about that all week coming up on PHLY. Now, you mentioned Saquon Barkley. For the record, now that he has crossed 2,000 yards rushing, you can buy those Saquon Barkley 2K shirts on the PHLY store. It's like 3 Saquon shirts you can buy now. So if you're looking for some Saquon merchandise, obviously PHLY in the All City store is the place to go. There it is. Look at that handsome Barkley shirt with the Philadelphia skyline in the background.
That is nice.
Vinny, last week we were here talking about we kind of want him to go for the record. How did you feel about the way that this week played out?
I love it. It was like I would say this, but I also say this last week. I would feel terrible if he come off limping. So
sure, or anybody else who has to play.
Correct. Right. So the fact that Jalen wasn't ready to come back yet. It let the defense rest. It let Saquon rest. Smitty rest. AJ rest. A lot of the guys rest. But also, a lot of the reserves get some PT because we're going to need depth and we're going to need everybody going into this playoff if we're trying to, get to the ship.
Okay, so let's talk about this game itself a little bit now.
Bo, this is kind of your day, man.
Yeah, take the stage.
Well, we will get there, but first we do have to say Kenny Gainwell in this game, 11 carries for 14 yards. That means that he falls.
Of you to start with Kenny Gainwell.
He falls 1,816 yards shy of Eric Dickerson's record. Just couldn't get there today, which is too bad.
Just a little too far out of reach. Will
it's
Shipley,
not that he didn't get the record; it's just he ran out of time.
He did. As was it Pierce yesterday on the Ravens said, the bus ran out of gas.
The bus ran out of gas.
What can you do?
All right, let's talk about it now. And listen, Santiago has been a thorn in our sides for years, but I got to give him credit. Tanner McKee, pretty good. That's
strong.
not bad in the chat, Santiago. Tanner McKee in this game, 27 of 41 for 269 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, a 100.6 quarterback rating. Big difference between the first half and the second half. It felt like they really game planned for the first half. The second half, it was a little bit more, a little bit sloppier, a little bit less designed, and he was running around a little bit. But I do actually think, Fran, that it was interesting in this game, especially the first half, how different the offense looked with Tanner McKee as opposed to the Jalen Hurts offense that we have seen. If you just look at the numbers, it was the highest rate of play action we have seen from the Eagles in the first half of any game this season. He also threw for more yards than any Eagles quarterback has in a half since 2022.
Yep.
You saw a lot of that much more under center. What did you make of not only Tanner McKee's performance, but like the way that the Kellen Moore offense looked with a different quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, this is some of the things that we talked about last time the Eagles were getting ready to play the Green Bay Packers, that we envisioned from a Kellen Moore offense, right? It was going to be more under center play action, more motion, and we saw that in this football game. The ball came out fast, it came out clean, wide receivers open underneath. Now, as the Giants kind of dialed in on what was happening, you saw that it was not as fruitful in the second half. It was more of an uphill climb for Tanner McKee and the running backs as you got into the third and fourth quarters. But obviously, when you have A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and you have supreme talent, then you hope that scheme was able to win out. So I think this does speak to the fact that Kellen Moore is an adaptive offensive coordinator and says, hey, you know what? Like, we are going to lean into what the quarterback and what our players like to do, what we feel like makes them most comfortable, because we see them kind of change on the fly here to do a little bit more of what we came to expect with McKee under center as opposed to Jalen Hurts and Kenny Pickett.
So my question was, did Howie Roseman start calling other GMs at halftime and say, hey, I got Kenny Pickett for a 6th-round pick for you? Did the calls already start? Is he going to wait a couple weeks and give him that courtesy? It's clear who the Eagles' backup quarterback should be.
It sounds like a bit.
It's not a bit. Like, it's clear who the Eagles'
Tanner McKee
backup
to me is an NFL caliber quarterback and a starting caliber NFL quarterback in my mind. What do you think, Vinny?
Whoa.
Listen,
Am I going too far in your mind?
Starting.
Listen, the way the league is going, just keep all 3.
Yeah, I think that would be...
Keep all 3.
I think
possible.
they'd be perfectly be fine
But
with
are
that.
you getting, if you could get something for Kenny Pickett, I think it's probably prudent to get that, just how little you use the third quarterback. To your point, Fran, about like differences in styles, Tanner McKee in this game, according to True Media, his average time to throw, 2.42 seconds, the quickest for any Eagles starting quarterback in a game this season, and that's with the play action stuff.
That's why I was just looking at the motion rates too. Motion rate was about middle of the road in terms of what we've seen from them over the course of the season. So just under 60% motion rate, which is very high from an Eagles standpoint, but we've seen them go a little bit more. And this is from Next Gen. Some of those numbers might change as the day goes on. But I think when you look at the way that they wanted to play here in this game, it was let's find ways to get the ball out fast, make decisive windows for Tanner McKee. A lot of it predicated on the run game. The fact that the run game just couldn't get going,
Sure.
I think that kind of hurt the value of the passing attack as well. But McKee came out and played really well. He was able to complete a number of throws outside the numbers, timing, anticipation. He did a really nice job in this game.
A couple throws into double coverage, which, that's okay.
Young quarterback.
He was
no doubt.
41 dropback.
He looked like a guy that had been waiting for his moment.
I agree with that.
Yeah, he looked like a guy that was waiting for his moment. And we talk about preparation. And early in the season, I don't know if you guys remember, we talked about player development.
Yes.
Yep.
And this is a game. This was a game.
Who did I say
for
got the
development.
best player development that I've been around?
Yeah.
And we're seeing it put on display.
As someone who has been in multiple There we go. Thank you.
Let's get a little thumbs up for Tanner McKee in the chat.
Yeah.
Come
No,
on.
man, he did his thing, man. It's
Tanner
preparation.
McKee Hive, stand up.
Yeah, man.
You mentioned Goedert, Fran.
Yep.
He does come back. The Eagles activated him from injured reserve this weekend. He plays in this game, 4 catches for 55 yards, very involved early. We also saw, for the first time, Jahan Dotson really make an impact for the Eagles.
Yeah.
7 catches for 94 yards.
Yeah, 7 catches, 94 yards. And look, he made plays yards after catch. He made plays over the middle of the field. He made plays outside the numbers. We've seen Dotson in spurts. We see remember that big catch he had down the field from Jalen Hurts against the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's had his moments, but this was an opportunity for him to be the focal point of the pass game. And again, because of how crisp the ball was getting out, we got to see some of the playmaking dimension with Jahan Dotson as well.
Jamie, can I ask you the nightmare scenario hypothetical question?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Let's say that Jalen Hurts is still in the concussion protocol this week.
It's Tanner McKee.
Would you go McKee over Pickett?
You have to. If you have eyes.
I mean, you know how I feel. Obviously, I would.
I mean, like that's the ultimate do or die situation. You as a coaching staff have to make the hard call there. And I don't think
it's not that hard of a call.
I don't think it's that hard of a call either. But to them who traded a 4th round pick,
I mean, they've had Pickett as the number 2 all year long for a reason,
and that's a hard.
And he played,
thing.
and to be fair, Pickett played a good game against the Cowboys
He
until
did.
he got hurt. Yeah.
But I think the offense looks better under Tanner McKee, and I think everybody in that building probably knows it. Whether they want to say it to themselves.
Vinny, this is one that I have said for a long time, and I know that you can speak to it. Stuff like when you're in training camp and there's a position battle or a guy is coming for someone else's job, the players know first. Is that fair to say?
100%.
Right.
100%. Because you watch, you know what I mean, and then they be real with you.
You're all watching tape, right?
Yeah, and that's not ladies and gentlemen. They're gonna let you know. Hey, yo, my man, you on the bubble, man. This is between this and this.
So where are those conversations amongst players happening? At the lunch table, real quiet, hush, hush, locker room corners, the position group meetings?
The coach is going to let you know.
Yeah? It's not going to be that hidden?
Oh, training camp is training camp another level. Why? The competitiveness in Philadelphia is second to none. And I'm not just saying that. Understand
That's a great thing.
When you come into training camp and that big old screen come up, you guys have seen clips of the team meeting room, and they showing them clips and he's up there. Oh, they're going to put you up on the screen. This is the battle. This is the matchups today. Who you got? Whoa, okay. You know, and it usually
tough business.
Usually it's young guys. You know what I'm saying? Usually it's young guys because they really on the verge of on the bubble. But they also want to make sure that mentally, if you get put in the spot, you're going to be able to handle it.
Yeah,
you know, you're going to be able to rise to the occasion, and that's a goal part of player development.
Yeah.
You know, the moment is never too big. So,
and listen, I mean, this was in terms of player development. This is a game in which the Eagles are playing mostly backups, and yeah, the Giants are a bad team. They came into this game 3-13, but the Eagles backups beat the Giants starters 20-13. That's worth something, right?
And didn't look outmatched. It's not like man, the Giants fumbled 4 times and they get up a kickoff return touchdown. The Eagles just went toe to toe with a team that said okay, we're gonna try and go out and win this game. We're gonna go for it on 4th down. We're gonna call fake punts. We're gonna try and outmuscle you with the run game. And the Eagles said no, we're still going to beat you in this way.
And I want to say this too. Also, it was cool to see if you go back to the Eagles preseason games. Tanner was still using his keys that he was using in the preseason. Those was his go-to guys. Those was his guys.
EJ Jenkins.
That's why I had it. My best bets. Touchdown
nice
EJ
bet.
Jenkins. Plus 550. That's his guy all summer long.
Plus 550 on Bet365.
Bingo, bango, bongo.
Yo, those was his guys. I'm like, damn, you the defense, you go back and watch who he kept throwing the ball. Oh, that's who we got to get.
And it's funny because talking to Tanner McKee in the locker room this week, the question was for you after last week's game, what was the biggest difference in the preseason versus the regular season? Maybe it would be the speed of the game. Maybe it might be having to do the protections against defenses that are actually trying to blitz as opposed to the preseason. But no, he said the biggest difference was getting to throw to guys like A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith because he doesn't get to do that in the summer. And I can just throw the ball up to those guys, and I know that they're going to make it happen. And as you think about, I don't know, what could happen if he were to be thrown into the game in a game that matters, he trusts his receivers. And if his receivers are A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, yeah, that's probably smart.
Yeah, I mean, if I was the quarterback, that's probably the only person they're down there somewhere. You know, people love Brett Favre for the same type of thing, right? Just throw the ball up.
I actually think Brett Favre is the most overrated quarterback ever.
But you know, they used to call it
But an even better guy.
He's a gunslinger.
He's a great guy.
You know?
Gunslinger mentality.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
he basically coined that idiot football phrase. Yeah.
Crazy. It's crazy.
4th and 20, like the 4th and 26 game, like that was embarrassing. That far. I mean, thank you, but like, what was that? What the hell was that?
Fran, on the record, Pickett or McKee?
I mean, McKee's better. Yeah, McKee's better.
Yeah, let's get a 6th. Let's go.
Will that be the case? Like when we get to next Sunday or next Saturday, and the inactives come out, like is Kenny Pickett going to be the emergency?
Well,
he's
got the ribs.
Yeah,
he's got the ribs. It's kind of an easy. If you actually want to make Tanner McKee, Kenny Pickett's injured.
Yeah,
he
exactly.
has ribs.
It's a soft demotion.
Yes,
Yeah.
It's an easy one
I
for
would,
the.
I would
front
like
office.
to see them both healthy and then them battle it out.
Yeah,
They did it in the preseason, and Tanner won.
yeah. Well,
But they traded for
mind.
Kenny, and here we are.
Before we get to Nick, who I know is going to come shortly, anybody else down the roster who you were interested to see today, or who stood out to you? We'll start with you, Vinny.
I was interested to see Jeremiah Trott.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was just interested to see Jeremiah.
And I thought he flashed a little
Yo,
bit.
bro,
I mean, that's a position where the TV copy is you really want to watch the film. But I thought he flashed.
One play in particular, did you see how fast did he hit the blitz?
Yep.
You know,
Timed up really
he
well.
kind of missed the tackle a little bit, but he got to slow him up. But little things like that is great to see him picking it up. You know, I think he's going to be a good player.
Finished with 11 tackles, according to the game book. Oren Burks with 17 tackles.
17 tackles in this game,
which is kind of wild. And that is, I mean, of the positions in this game, that is one of the most important ones because that's the spot where if either Nakobe Dean or Zach Bond goes down at any point in the playoffs, one of those guys is next man up.
And you understand, they also call the defense. They got to line everybody up. Now, you're got to play in this whole game by yourself.
Yep.
You know, Zach not coming out there, Nakobe not coming out there. So it was interesting to see. I didn't see our defense panicking. I thought everybody was flying around, and I thought he did a great job playing himself, but also getting everybody lined up.
How about you, Jimmy? Anybody else flash?
I was interested in the backup offensive line just to see, Stoutland University, how the guys are prepared and how they looked. And for the most part, to the naked eye, they looked competent.
Pass pro, probably better than run blocking in this game.
Yeah.
Although who knows what, if the Giants were,
That's what they
loading
prefer,
up on
those
that.
big hogs, right?
Yep. So the offensive line in this game started, just for the record, Fred Johnson at left tackle, Tyler Steen at left guard, Nick Gates at center, Jack Driscoll at right guard, and then Darren Kennard at right tackle.
Yeah,
Did that
backup
surprise you?
unit.
That's an entire. What's that?
Did anything about that lineup surprise you? Like in terms of like Tyler Steen at left guard, did that surprise you at all?
Didn't surprise me. Now, eventually, Steen left and was replaced by Trevor Keegan. I thought that we might see Driscoll at center in a game because we know that he's practiced that over the course of the season, and it would have been worthwhile to get him game reps at center. But other than that, not super surprising. How about you?
No, I thought that I was interested to see where Steen ultimately would line up. But yeah, things made sense after that.
How about you, Fran? Anybody jump out, good or bad?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to see what some of the other young players like Kelee Ringo, and I'll get a better sense after
I was
the
curious
film on
about
that one.
secondary too,
What would Ringo look
Had a
like?
nice break up on fourth down early in this game.
Yeah, for opening drive, and we've seen him make this play. As I think back to his first training camp where it happened like 2 or 3 times where he gets a beat on the play, and it's like, man, go make a play, big guy. Like trust your talent, trust your speed. He closes on the ball, and the ball hits the ground instead of him picking it off. Where he's got the opportunity was there. So I'm excited to go back, watch that play, watch other plays. Moro Ojama flashed again, and that's been the case for these last couple of weeks. So good to see that from number 97 as well.
I think one of the more interesting players in this game on defense, Sidney Brown. Now, Sidney Brown
the big
in this
pick.
game did not get the start. Okay, so in base, they were playing Tristan McCollum and Avonte Maddox at safety. And then when they went to nickel, which they were in more often, Avonte Maddox slid to nickel, and then Sidney Brown came in. So for a second-year, third-round pick, not ideal that he's the 5th safety in the pecking order, essentially.
Yeah.
However, you saw him. He had an interception. He also laid a nice hit on a downfield pass near the end zone. You see the way that he flies around. It's just now, obviously, his season has been affected by he was on PUP, came in midseason, didn't get training camp. I think it's fair to say a disappointment that he's 5th in the pecking order. But in a game in which he got to finally play on defense, nice to see him flash.
Yeah, he had a missed tackle in the alley on a run play down to the perimeter to the left side.
He plays like a maniac.
He does. He plays with his hair on fire. He's going to Sendejo some people. He gave Isaiah Rodgers a shot along the right sideline on a deep ball for Neighbors on a 4th down. But I think when you look at Sidney Brown, the way that he plays, that's going to cater to Philly fans, right? Because he's going to always play hard. But yeah, you'd probably expect that he'd be more than what he is on the depth chart at this point.
Wait, Philly fans like a guy that's going to eat glass and have blood and foam coming out of his mouth?
And that's the look for a late third round pick. If what he becomes is like a special teams demon
Sure.
and a backup safety, it's not like the worst outcome. But
late. He's a relatively early 3rd round.
Wasn't he late?
Who was the guy on special teams?
Him and Steen were back to back.
Whose
Right.
forehead
Back-to-back
used to
picks at
always
like
bleed?
80. I think it was like early mid.
Okay, early mid.
Who was the Eagles special team? Who?
Brian Bremen.
Brian Bremen.
Brian Bremen, Colt Anderson.
Yeah, the guys whose foreheads would bleed because they'd be, concussion uncling so hard.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to hear
those
from
guys.
Nick Sirianni in just a bit, but first, a quick break to hear from our sponsors. All right, we know we got a playoff game coming up at the LINC next weekend. Don't know yet when it's going to be, but we do know that if you want to try to get into the building and get tickets to watch that game, the best place to do it is going to be on Game Time, because Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to your favorite events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets to find the best value. Here's why Game Time is the best place to get tickets. All in pricing. So you're not going to be surprised by fees at the end and you're thinking, oh, I got a good deal. Wait a second, I got to pay $50 in fees? No. Not at Game Time. Toggling this feature shows the total upfront with no surprise fees at checkout. You also get the seat views ahead of time, so you know exactly what it's going to look like when you get to the stadium. You get the lowest price guarantee, where if you find the same tickets for cheaper somewhere else, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference, and you get the Game Time ticket coverage, where your tickets are guaranteed to be delivered on time and your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code PHLY for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem with code PHLY for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
And let me tell you about something awesome, and that's True Mark Financial Credit Union. If you don't know what it's like having a credit union in your corner, you need to find out. No better place to start than with True Mark. They're based right here in Fort Washington. They have area locations all over the place. And what they're doing right now for kids is awesome. And it's free for True Mark customers. It's called the Greenlight app. And I wish I had something like this when I was younger. You can set up the app so that you can set savings goals, you can learn and track your spending, and parents, you can control it all from your app right there in your hand. The Greenlight app teaches kids about financial literacy at a young age so that you grow up understanding what savings are and what real world money skills are like. And you can stay in control of it from your phone. So you get peace of mind. They get the freedom to make smart decisions with their money and feel like grown-ups a little bit while doing it and using their debit card out in the real world. It's like coaching your kids through their own financial game. And for TrueMark Financial members, it's free. And it's the new year, 2025. Get your kids on the right track. Get signed up today. Visit truemark.com/greenlight for more information.
All right. Still waiting to hear from Nick Sirianni at the LINC.
Did y'all see how cool that belt was?
The AJ belt.
Yo, dude,
always
that was
open.
sick, bro.
Now, what did you think about him sleeping?
I mean,
He said he was praying. He tweeted that he was
That's what
praying.
he said?
Yeah, but he deleted the tweet.
Oh, really? Oh, that's so funny.
Listen,
I mean,
man, I don't-
we made it
I
the
think- I
thumbnail
think he was
because it's
just-
like that's the image of the game to me.
I think he's just rushing his eyes a little bit. You know, it's a little
Yeah.
lady out there.
It's cold.
Yeah,
you know,
he
your
should rush
eyes
his
are
eyes a
exposed. You
little
want to
bit.
warm them up by closing your eyelids. That makes sense. Yeah.
And
Shout out to Ryan Madden on Twitter, who responded saying, "How did you guys get a pic of ZB at the movies?"
That's pretty good.
Really good.
I also got just tagged by Jordan Rodriguez, who covers the Rams, letting me know. Guess who's starting at center for the playoff Rams today?
What a day for you.
Dylan McMahon, baby.
Well, that's the thing. Is that like week 18 in the NFL season? This is like your Super Bowl
I'm
right now.
telling him, man.
That's my guy.
How did Christian Ellis do today?
McKee.
Did he play?
He made his case for Defensive Player of the Year. He's a starter for them all year long.
Yeah.
He's been very good. Running down the rest of the guys who played in this game, Aniyah Smith, 4 catches for 35 yards, had a touchdown on the opening drive.
Nice touchdown.
The longest touchdown this season that was thrown to somebody other than A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Saquon Barkley, or Dallas Goedert. There are only 4 of those.
Right.
Can you name the other 3?
Ooh.
Longest touchdowns thrown to anyone. Not
So who else has a touchdown this season other than those big 4?
Kenny Gainwell had a long reception touchdown, didn't he?
I don't believe he has a receiving touchdown.
Johnny Wilson.
Johnny Wilson has
Yeah.
1.
Back of the end zone one.
Yes.
Yep.
Grant Calcaterra.
Grant
no.
Calcaterra has
Calcaterra.
1.
Sure.
Yeah, he gave it the.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
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 So there's one other one. This is the tougher one.
It would be
Shipley's
Paris
wasn't-
Campbell.
Paris Campbell has a
Yeah.
1-yard
Wow.
touchdown reception this season. So
Christian Ellis led New England in tackles today. 13
Oh,
tackles.
wow.
There we go.
It's all coming up, Bo.
and EJ Jenkins had a touchdown today.
It's all coming up.
I mean, all the
Bo.
Bo Wolf Camp crushes coming up big.
Elijah Riley had a pick 6.
No, that one was in my dreams last night.
We got a hand up over there, Bo.
We got Sirianni. Perfect timing. Let's go to the link right now to hear from Nick Sirianni.
14 games. There's been a lot of contributions from a lot of different people. Had some bumps and bruises along the way, and a lot of guys have stepped in and played. When you win 14 games, it takes everybody, and Fred coming in and playing a lot of plays, and excuse me, Isaiah and Grant Calcaterra and Orrin Burks, and so. And then being able to go out and do Kenny Pickett, and then going out and doing what we did today with the guys that went out there and played. So good depth, unbelievable job by Howie and his staff to get the depth in here. Unbelievable job by the coaches to develop those players, and unbelievable job by the players.
How Tanner played today, how does that affect how you see the state of the quarterback position? Is it there's still hurts and protocol and such? How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I love the room. Love the room.
You mentioned 14 wins there twice.
Zach.
You guys have done it now twice in your 4 years. Does that matter to you? Is that significant to you?
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, it's cool. So, but again, that takes contributions from everybody, and we always talk about doing special things, and you have special things to do during the regular season, then the postseason, and winning the division, tying a franchise record. That's cool.
I know you're talking about things in a micro view, but 14 wins and you're the number 2 seed. The path that is in front of you is tough. I mean, how difficult when you look at this conference?
Yeah, that's the playoffs, and that's the NFC, and a lot of good teams here, and we'll take one game at a time. I believe it's Green Bay right now, and we'll settle our sights on them, and really good football team, coached really well, so I'm not really worried about anything else other than them. Same as what we talked about.
Same as Friday?
Yeah.
Nick, I know obviously you just won this game, but you do know it's the Packers. You're playing them all the way back in week 1. Is that something you can use, or is that so far?
Yeah, both teams are different from that day till now, no doubt. But yeah, you'll use that. Use everything. That's something that when we go play a team that we played the previous year, we'll use that too. So that's from year to year, and so of course we'll use that. They'll use that. We understand that. It's a really good team with really well coached.
Was Jahan present at the walkthrough yesterday?
Was he present at the walkthrough?
Yeah, was he there?
Yeah.
Does that represent progression?
Guys, I mean, he's progressing through the protocol. We've talked a lot about that, so yeah, no, you'll keep. And I respect your guys' question. I'm going to answer them all, but yeah, he's progressing through the protocol.
When you guys were 2-2, the whole city's on you and all that. How gratifying is it for you to see this team kind of grow and evolve, both offensively and defensively, to this point where you're a serious contender for them?
Yeah, we don't listen to outside noise. We try to put our head down and work. When we were 2-2, we were trying to get to 3-2. Right? When we were 3-2, we were trying to get to 4-2. And we were able to run off a couple there. I know it's boring. I know it's not real exciting, but we're focused at the task at hand, and that's only thing that we're focused on, and that will continue through the playoffs.
What was your message to the players now that this chapter's closed and you are on to the postseason?
Yeah, I wanted to recognize what happened. I told them what the schedule is tomorrow, but today was for the guys that played good in this game. Told them what the schedule was. Obviously very cool that Mr. Laurie won his 300th game as the owner of this football team, recognized him, recognized a couple guys that played really well, and that's what this was about. Was we can get to tomorrow. We can get to the Packers tomorrow. We wanted to enjoy this one. So again, schedule and then recognize the efforts that it took to win this game today.
What was it like getting, all your major guys, a week's worth of rest? I mean, you have to play Saquon, AJ, Devontae, all those guys. How much does that help you going into
Yeah, we were fortunate enough to be in a position to create. Obviously, you always want the bye week. We didn't get that. Obviously there'll be a game tonight to decide that. And so we were able to kind of create our own bye week, I guess to say, after not having a bye week since week 5. So that's good. Yeah, anytime you can get the guys rest this late in the season, it's like when we take guys out when we have a big lead in a game, you want to take them out to rest those guys as well because it's a long season, and every game's so important that you just it's huge to be able to do that.
Obviously, you're focused on the game itself, but just with it not knowing who your opponent would be, it's just like a week where you guys try to look at the updates and it's just going through your mind like, hey, could be the Packers could
Our job was to be so locked in to help the guys that were playing in this game perform well as coaches and as players, and it was cool to see the guys that weren't going to play in this game give the effort that they did to help those guys get ready.
Some regulars that had to play, like Jordan Davis in particular, how did guys like that in particular handle that, and what did his performance show?
Yeah, the type of teammate and the type of person he is. I thought he played really good. He had there was a couple screens early on that he retraced out. Well, one screen that he retraced out in a wide receiver screen, and the other one that he kind of snuffed out, and you kind of felt his presence all game, and so. It just shows you, again, you can't rest everybody in those scenarios. It's impossible. There's going to be guys that you want to be able to rest that you can't. And he went out there and played a really good game, played an outstanding game. It was fun to watch him play in that setting, and played. I'll have to. Did you guys get the rep count of what he played? I'll see if the plan was to play him a little less than he had normally played, but we'll see it. We'll see how that went out.
Not just today, but now that you've had him for the last couple of years, what kind of sense do you have of the quarterback Tanner McKee could be?
Yeah, again, I thought he was in complete control of the game today, and making good decisions. I felt like he got to his check down a couple times. That was really impressive. To Will Shipley a couple times, I thought was really impressive. Strung together a couple good quarters last game. He strung, and then a good game today, a full good game today. And he's had every time he gets an opportunity in practice, he does a really good job. We're excited about Tanner and the player he is. I love our quarterback room, obviously starting with Jalen, and all the great things Jalen's done this year to help us get to this where we are right now. Kenny's had really good minutes and good quarter. Played a good game last week. Played a good game against Washington, and then Tanner doing what he did today, and then at the end of the Dallas game last week. So, love that room. Awesome job by Howie and his staff to get these guys. Great job by the players themselves by developing them, helping themselves just develop into what they can be. And then, you got to give a lot of credit to Doug and Kellen and Kevin Patullo for all the things that they've done to help develop those guys.
A couple more from Dotson's performance.
Yeah, that was fun to watch. There was a couple really awesome plays that him and Tanner had made. He just you saw some things with him after the catch that was really cool with Dotson. And he, I thought he did a good job. There wasn't a lot of opportunities for returns, but did a good job of coming up and catching the ball in some conditions. We've had a lot of faith in Jahan since the moment he's got here. There's a reason why we traded for him, and so we got a lot of faith in him and the player that he is. Now he has to share targets with some other guys that are really outstanding players, and that's just the way it goes sometimes. But it gives you a lot of faith that he was able to contribute today and do the things he's capable of today.
Last one.
Go ahead. I'll get both of you guys. Go ahead, Martin.
Jake missing that field goal, in the context of the kind of season he's had, is that a cause for concern going forward?
I came out and made 2 after that. Again, it was we didn't lose any faith in him. He went out and ripped 2 that we needed right after that. So it happens in this game.
What sort of growth did you see? Have you seen from Jeremiah Trotter from when he first got here to what he was able to do?
I think he's done an unbelievable job of just transforming his body, getting in great shape. He's obviously a very instinctive player, reason why we drafted him in the first place. It's had a lot of production. And then for him and Orrin to go out and do what they did today, I think Trot had, 11 tackles, and Orrin had something crazy like 17 tackles. That means that, again, those guys are flying around making plays in Vic's scheme. Bobby King's done a great job of helping these guys get better. And, was fun to watch him fly around and make plays today.
All good. Thank you.
You have one? Okay.
All right, there you have it. Nick Sirianni rocking the Mount Union shirt as customary. All right, I have news for you guys.
What you got?
Now, first of all, apparently, according to the chat, Matt LaFleur has said that Jordan Love will be able to play next week. Courtesy of Bet365, I have the line.
Oh, I was gonna play Guess That Line with you later.
What do you think?
I have not looked. I would guess Eagles -4.5.
Vinny, what do you think?
I'm gonna go with the same.
Fran?
I'll go Price is Right. I'll go 3.5.
It is 3.5. The
Okay.
Eagles favored by 3.5 with a -185 money line. That
See,
equates to a 65% chance to win the game, according to
that
Vegas.
money line does not equate to the spread. It's a little pricier.
Okay.
That's where I think they were like on the
Yeah.
edge of 4.
Yeah,
Because
it's
minus
it's interesting they
185.
wanted to put it out already, even though Love was banged up. But I guess
Right.
LaFleur saying that.
I mean, I think that's about right. I was guessing between 3.5 and 4.5. That seems right on its level.
And if you're willing to look ahead, we have the close to the full picture of the NFC. Now, obviously, Minnesota, Detroit playing tonight for
Yes.
whoever wins is the 1 seed, whoever loses is the 5 seed. Eagles locked into the 2 seed.
It's a deadly 5 seed.
It's
Jeez.
a
That's
very
brutal.
tough 5 seed.
I mean, that's tough. Could you imagine, like, if you're Detroit, you're number 1 all season long, and you go right from that to being the 5 seed, and you don't even host a playoff game?
That's
Like,
wild.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And you're all banged up. Like
Yeah.
they could
That's
really
tough,
use
man.
that rest. Now the 3-4 will depend on how the Rams do in the late window. Right now they're losing to the Seahawks 7-0. If they lose and they are resting their starters,
Yeah.
they will be the 4 and Tampa Bay will be the 3. If they win, they will be the 3 and Tampa will be the 4. And then obviously we know that Washington is 6 and Green Bay is 7. So if the Eagles are able to beat the Packers next week, you're looking at either whether Washington upsets the 3 seed, and if not, the winner of the winner, you would get the 3 seed. Yeah.
Can you name the other 3 games where the Eagles and Packers have played in the postseason? This will be the 4th playoff matchup between Eagles and
Packers.
Packers.
4th and 26.
4th and 26. So 2003, Eagles win 20-17 in overtime.
You
Yep.
got the Riley Cooper game in 2012.
2010.
2010.
2010.
No, here.
That was the only Packers win. Packers win 21-16 after the miracle from Deshaun Jackson. Yep.
Yes.
Was that rookie year?
No.
Before
I
you,
was-
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, a
It was
couple
the
years
year
before.
be-
me.
okay.
Yep.
You were 2014?
2012.
2012. Okay, so it was just the following year.
And then the other one.
Got to go back.
There's one in Lambeau, right?
No, it's only
All
been
in
here
Philly.
in Philly. Yeah.
That's wild.
I don't know. Tell me.
The 1960 NFL
I was
championship.
going to
Oh,
say
at
that.
Franklin
I was
Field.
going to
Vince
say that, but I
Vince-
thought we were going post-merger.
Yeah, Vince Lombardi's only loss.
I
in
was
the
going to say
championship
that's his
game.
only
I thought we
loss
were
in
going
the
post-merger.
Wow.
Yes, you snuck that in on me.
Yep, 1960 championship. So, so the 4th postseason
Wasn't
matchup
there like
there.
there was like I heard it recently on Twitter, the old video recap of I think there was like 67,000 in Franklin Field or something for that.
Yeah,
It was like a wild number for
something like that.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that was not asked of Nick Sirianni, and I do think if he's going to make a switch at quarterback to Tanner McKee, the reason would be that Tanner McKee was able to get the Giants to bite on 2 separate neutral zone violations.
That's a lot of equity in the house.
What a hard count.
Yeah.
That's a skill. I mean, he might. I'm being 100% serious. He might get the number 2 job solely because of that.
On the season, here's some cherry picking for you.
Okay.
Quarterbacks in the NFL who have had
boy.
at least 40 pass attempts on the year.
Buckle up.
There are only 2 quarterbacks who are in the top 3 of both passer rating and EPA per dropback. Lamar Jackson and Tanner McKee. I mean, MVP McKee? Is it crazy? Probably.
Who can say?
Who can say? All right.
I know one thing. he update that Madden rating.
I like that. That's pretty good. Yeah. Vinny, how do you feel about like just turning the page for the Eagles to this Packers game? And like you feel like Saquon in particular, your boy is primed to like make it worth his while that he sat in this game?
Yeah, I think he's gonna have a phenomenal game, and I also think he's gonna have over 100 yards rushing, and that's going in our Philadelphia minds. We can we got it. You know what I mean? I feel like we're still gonna count that, even though in this book it ain't gonna count. But I think he's gonna do well. I think those guys needed a bye week because they've been winning 14 games in this league.
Have not had a bye since week 5.
Right.
I think the defensive line, you could say a similar thing for. A lot of those guys are playing a ton of snaps. How do you feel about the D-line right now?
I think they're rolling, man. For those guys, I was excited that they was able to get rest. Like I said in the beginning of the show, it was good to see.
Davis played a couple snaps. Right. Ajuma had to play.
But Jordan, you get what I'm saying? He flashed today.
Yep.
At least I thought so. He flashed today. And when he's next to to Jalen, and I'm like, you see him, but he didn't. Like today, you saw him. You saw him all over. I want to say Bryce Huff. You said it had 5 pressures,
5 hurries, front pressures for the next gen,
which was a surprise based on what it looked like on the TV copy, right?
So yeah,
like
we'll see.
If we're talking about disappointments from this game, you would have hoped that Bryce Huff, having knocked off the rust last week in a game against a not great offensive line, could have flashed a little more in this game. But
I would agree.
But here we are. That's okay.
Milton Williams early on in the game as well.
Had to play a couple snaps.
It looks like it was just like third and long. So we're going to put him out there. Yeah. So just to eat up some snaps.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's one area where towards the end of the season, the pass rush has not quite been there like it was in like that third quarter of the season.
Yep.
And so maybe the rest for them will do the most good.
That's what I'm sure they're hoping.
Yeah, I would think so. All right, let us know what you think in the chat. Let's go to the super chats that we have so far. We've got Red Jive, who says 2K Saquon could have had the record in the first quarter. How do you think this game would have played out if Saquon had to play, James?
I mean, Vinny, I'll let you speak to this, but I would imagine the Giants probably put 8 or 9 in the box every single play.
I mean, the Eagles did not have a great rushing game. Now, obviously, they had their backup offensive line, but
I think if the starters played, it would have been a massacre today.
Oh, no doubt.
No doubt about that.
But the question is like, okay, let's say at halftime he's 30 yards away. You keep going for it? Okay, but what if he's 45 yards away?
I believe he's only had 101 yards before the fourth quarter 6 times on the year.
Yeah.
So like there is a real scenario where he would have had to have gone
It would have been such a weird game theory thing where like you were almost trying to get rushing yards more than get points, but you can't just run the ball because in order to run the ball effectively, you got to be able to pass the ball.
And they would have stolen your boy's shine.
Yeah, exactly. Although he did run for more yards per carry under Tanner McKee last week than he did with Kenny Pickett.
Yeah. And again, like Devontae Smith sprains an ankle.
Yeah,
of
course.
He's out next week.
Claude Debussy says, off topic, but do you think the Steelers' collapse will be overanalyzed by national media like the Eagles last year? Probably not. They have lost 5 games in a row.
No, I doubt it, man. Everybody loves talking about the Eagles on national media. I'm starting to figure that out. And the Steelers I didn't see the Steelers going that far. Period. I didn't even see them having the season.
Russell Wilson with an all-time boneheaded drive on the fourth quarter there.
That's brutal.
To not throw the ball away, he chewed up like 15 seconds, and I know Freiermuth dropped one on 4th down, but like, he missed Pickens on a big double and go. Like, it was bad.
All right, one more break, and then we're going to get to Zach Berman, who is ready to weigh in with his thoughts on this game and let us know what the locker room was like just after this. Already told you, Bet365 all over the early line on the Eagles-Packers, and that's because it's never ordinary at Bet365. They have 90 million users worldwide, and they live stream over 780,000 events each year. With early payout offers across the NBA, NFL, NHL, and MLB, Bet365 pioneered live in-game betting, and today they offer the widest range of games and markets available for live in-game betting across 78 sports. Right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Use the code PHLY365 to sign up, deposit $10, and then place a bet for $5 to get $150 in bonus bets. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. All kinds of stuff that you're going to have to look forward to ahead of that Eagles-Packers game. And if you watched the kickoff show today, you would have hit big on that E.J. Jenkins touchdown on Bet365 plus 550. No big deal. Every day at Bet365, we power up the odds on hundreds of bets to give you a chance to win more with over 10,000 boosts every month. We boost specific markets, your winnings, and even parlays. Keep an eye out for our custom PHLY bets and boosts, thanks to Jamie Lynch. Download the Bet365 app. Use code PHLY365 when you sign up to get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or older and physically located in Pennsylvania. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER.
Everything these days is done from the convenience of your phone. So why not make your pharmacy also that convenient? You need to sign up for My Pharmacy with Rite Aid. Just head to riteaid.com/mypharmacy, and you can do all of that stuff that you need to do with the pharmacy, with your local neighborhood Rite Aid, right there from your phone. You can schedule vaccines, refill your prescriptions, get personalized care recommendations, sign up for notifications on your prescriptions, and all that and more. And all you need to get started is your prescription filled at your local Rite Aid. So get started today at riteaid.com/mypharmacy. Stop stressing about your prescriptions and let Rite Aid fill them automatically. Enroll in courtesy refills, transfer your prescription, set up medical reminders, all that and more. So transfer your prescriptions at Rite Aid today. Go to riteaid.com/transfer. Rite Aid caring pharmacists are ready to answer all your questions and help you stay healthy. Get your prescriptions along with anything else Rite Aid has, right, including over-the-counter medicines, household products, cosmetics, and more. And just ask your pharmacy team for more details. Restrictions apply.
All right. After the Eagles have closed the season 14-3, it's time to check in at the LINC with our man, Zach Berman, the Eagles insider. Zach, let's check out this backdrop. How we looking? Oh, yeah.
Oh,
what's up, guys? Good to see you.
There's that energy. Yeah, there it is.
Yes.
unknown to mankind.
It's a 14-win
mode
season.
now. Playoff mode. I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm excited. We're going to have our best work yet this
you
week.
have responded in kind. What was the locker room like, Zach?
Quick exiting.
Yo, Zach, listen. I swear I was about to say that. I was about to say, damn, this is the fastest he ever got off the set. I was like, I better not say that.
I felt bad for Cam Jurgens was talking by his, someone gets him, then all the cameras come, and he's talking about the Packers. I think a lot of those starters want to get out of there as quickly as they could. I appreciate it, though. You said I'm here quickly, Vinny. Tanner McKee, he's from I guess the Peyton Manning, Russell Wilson school of this, where he goes right to the podium. He's not putting the suit on, getting ready, getting all that. So got Tanner McKee quickly. Nick Sirianni was at the end, and then I came up here quickly too because Bo told me before at halftime today's show might be quicker than some other shows, so I didn't want to keep you guys waiting. But the locker room itself, it was a quick exiting locker room. It was a locker room that obviously appreciates what happened today, but it's quickly turned their focus on to the Packers. And, Jordan Davis said this is an evolved team since Green Bay saw them week one. So that's something that, we'll obviously have 5 days here or 4 days here. Well, 5 shows, no matter what, to dive into this matchup. But in particular, this Eagles run defense has evolved since they saw Green Bay. But I think for the game itself, some of the big takeaways were obviously Tanner McKee, Jahan Dotson's performance, the fact that Dallas Goedert played, the fact that the Eagles won with their backups. I think I asked Nick Sirianni this. It is meaningful to Nick that they've won 14 games now, 2 of the past 3 years, the two best win totals in franchise history. But as we've discussed throughout the year, going back to the spring, this team is not going to be defined. This season's not going to be defined by what happens in the regular season. It's impressive that they won 14 games, but as Nick's told them after every game this year, or after a lot of the games this year, they can do special stuff, right? Special bleep. They haven't done that. 14 games or 14 wins is special. But I think what he's referring to is what comes during the next month.
Yes, well said. And also nice to follow sort of the ants on the field behind you as they are running around, Zach. Let's start with just this game, and then we'll zoom out and talk big picture. On this game, what did Tanner McKee say in his press conference? We didn't get a view of that. And did he thank PHLY for inventing him and, getting him ready for this moment?
No. First off, PHLY did not invent him. By the way, just as a quick aside, I was speaking. I was speaking to Saquon Barkley's mother before the season, and I ran by this quote that I got where someone said to me, Copley, where he's from, or Copley created him. Copley created him, but Penn State made him, or something like that. And I asked her kind of that thoughts, and she's like, I made him. She's like, he's my son, right? He's not Penn State or Copley. So
that's how I feel about Tanner McKee.
Yeah, I think Tanner McKee's parents have been in town during the past week. They flew in for the game. So they would probably take umbrage to PHLY taking credit for this. But no, to answer your question, Tanner McKee, the way he started the game, I asked him that. He thought that was critical. That first drive, really setting the tone early. And being able to get the passing game going, spreading the ball out was important to him, getting into that rhythm. He felt good out there. He felt like he belonged out there. I asked him what this game could do, what this game means in like the context of his career. Has his mind wandered to what could be ahead this offseason? He said no. He laughed. He said no. He's thinking about the playoffs right now. I mean, he knows where I'm coming with that question, because he did say, when I spoke to Tanner on Wednesday, this is a chance to showcase himself to the team, to the league. He spoke about how valuable of an opportunity this was. This is his first start in the regular season in the NFL. So yeah, he recognizes that, and it was impressive the way he played. He was able to run the offense efficiently. He gave a lot of credit to Kellen Moore for the game that Kellen called. He talked about Jahan Dotson and obviously being able to play with Dallas Goedert early. Bo asked him the question earlier this week about the difference between the regular season and the preseason. And his answer to Bo then was, well, yeah, AJ Brown and Devontae Smith are really good, right? And I think he saw the same thing with Dallas Goedert. Goedert plays that first drive. He catches 2 balls, 2 or 3 balls on the opening drive. He's Stanford educated, Tanner McKee. He's smart. He knows to go to Dallas Goedert when Dallas Goedert's in the game.
Zach, you wanted to cover something special in Week 18, and you got to.
Got to cover something. I mean, I don't mean to be cliche, but every time you pull up to a stadium or a ballpark, you are covering something special, right? You have to take that approach that you're covering something special. So even if it's not the most special, it's special to the guys on the field. This was special to Tanner McKee. This was special to Jahan Dotson. This was special to Anaya Smith. You can go on down the list. So yeah, I mean, I heard Mike McDaniel's quote about not feeling entitled to anything, right? Every time you cover a game is a chance to cover something special.
All right, let's zoom out from this game, because I think we will all forget about this game by this evening as we.
I already forgot about it. Where are we?
Eagles Packers. That's exactly right. What was you mentioned what Jordan Davis said, but the guys in the locker room who you did talk to, how do they feel about this matchup that is a rematch of Week 1?
Yeah, it's a good question, and there honestly wasn't as much that Cam Jurgens spoke about it and said that going into that first game, there was a lot of unfamiliarity, right? It was Jeff Hafley's first game as defensive coordinator then. Whenever there's a Week 1 game, the teams are not familiar with each other, and the schemes are new. And what you're seeing here is it's much different, obviously, when there's a 17-game sample size. The teams played against each other before. I will do more work in the locker room this week on talking to the players about that first game. I'm curious if the turf changes kind of the way they view that game, because that was a factor in that game in a major way. But no, it was more, Jordan Davis was saying that the run defense has evolved since then. Cam Jurgens was saying that there's more familiarity with the opponent than you saw then. So I think those were some of the big takeaways. Now, mind you, they didn't learn it was the Packers until like 3 minutes before I got in there, right? Because that was still in question. Even when they came off the field, I mean, I was up in the press box before I went down. I saw Marcus Mariota have that big run to bring them inside the red zone. And there was actually an Eagles assistant coach, one of the coaches who's up in the booth, and he walks by, and I'm not going to quote him here, but like he was kind of, Jaden Daniels, like why isn't Jaden Daniels in the game, that kind of thing, right? But like, yeah. So, and at the time, the Packers still had the lead, and then not until I got, down to, I take the elevator down. I'm telling you, the audience kind of doesn't know all this, but I take the elevator down. By the time I get to the elevator, I look at my phone, and the Bears have taken the lead, right? And so then all right, so now they're going to play the Packers. But this shows you up until the time I got into the locker room, like even the players didn't know it was going to be Green Bay yet then. So I think obviously these starters have been able to look ahead, even though Nick says their focus was all on this game. It's not like Lane Johnson was, preparing for the New York Giants pass rush, right? So the players were able to look ahead, but I still think this was fairly raw in the locker room. The thoughts are like the quick hitting thoughts, how's your team different, that kind of thing.
So Zach, do the players know who's going to be quarterbacking the Eagles next week?
Vinny he wants to hear what you have to say about Jalen Hurts.
Nick clearly annoyed at another line of questioning. We know he's progressing. Yeah. What's your read besides Nick Sirianni press conference speak?
Yeah, I mean, he was at the walkthrough. He was present. I don't believe he participated, but he wouldn't participate in a Saturday walkthrough for a game he's not playing the next day, right? So I don't read anything into that part of it. I think the fact that he's present is significant. Now, he has not been present at the practices that I've been at during the past 2 weeks. Walkthroughs are different, and Vinny can tell you this. Walkthroughs are different than practices, right? But I think the fact that I'll put it this way, because I asked Nick the question about him being at the walkthrough because I know it came up on CBS, so I was essentially confirming that the fact that CBS walked with that information, I think, is relevant because it means it was probably framed in such a way that this is a sign of progress. So Nick's not going there. It's kind of his MO. I don't think he should get annoyed by it. This is the starting quarterback. There's obviously going to be questions about the starting quarterback. He's allowed to talk about more than he has, but that's for another day. The bottom line is I can't tell. I can't tell you that Jalen's definitely going to be the quarterback next week, but I'm expecting Jalen to be the quarterback next week against the Packers.
But do you think that his absence from practice this week was signal that he was not quite right?
Yeah, I do. And I've heard, I said that on the show the other day, and I had a few listeners or viewers reach out being like, well, he wasn't going to play, so of course he's not going to be at practice. That's two totally different things. You can still be present at practice if you're not going to play. Like the fact that he's not present at practice stood out to me. The fact that it was 2 weeks without him present at practice, because there is a protocol. Like you don't just keep a guy at a stage in the protocol. The protocol is designed to be out of it's designed not to have football intentionality to it, right? So that you get regular checkups on your progression, regardless, irrespective of what's happening with the football team. So when you reach a certain benchmark, you're therefore allowed to attend practice. Even if you don't participate in practice, you're allowed to be there. So the fact that he wasn't there did stand out to me. But again, I would be more alarmed if the first practice this week he was not out there. I think it's really tough. If they play Saturday, the Tuesday practice, if they play Sunday, the Wednesday practice, I think that will be the indicator of whether he's going to play.
So Zach, curious, you just mentioned that. What's your gut intuition say about what game time slot the Eagles fall into here. The Saturday night game is an Amazon Prime game. How much say do they have in this? What's your best guess as to where the Eagles fall in here?
I'm guessing Sunday.
Game.
Yeah, I'm guessing Sunday. Now, I don't know.
Sure.
I think a lot depends on, and Professor Selman walked us through it, the 4-5 game. The 4-5 in the NFC is more appealing than the 4-5 in the AFC. So my guess is the 4-5 in the NFC would be the Monday night game. And then the two other NFC games would be Sunday slots. And then the AFC would have 2 Saturday slots and 1 Sunday slot. That's my guess. Just based on the strength of the 4-5 game, I'm expecting that 4-5 game to be an NFC game. But
don't
Jamie, I'll
change
defer to
this.
you.
I also think Eagles-Packers is the
that carries
is
weight.
the national matchup.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think Sunday night is reasonable to expect.
But Jamie, you know better than me about how the networks work and who gets dibs, and obviously the Amazon part of this factors into things as well. But no, my guess is the AFC will have 2 Saturday games and 1 Sunday game, and the NFC has 2 Sunday games and 1 Monday game.
All right, Zach, my final question for you is because we have the whole panel here who does not know this story. I'm wondering if you can edify us and take us through the odyssey of the PFWA award for good guy in the locker room. You don't have to tell us who it's going to, but your journey acquiring this this prize and the things that you have gone through and where we stand now.
Yeah, I'm speaking a bit prematurely here because we haven't presented it, but
you don't have to say who it's going to.
I'll share. Yeah, so we are having we're having what I've labeled a media appreciation award. Okay, I think that's an appropriate term for it. Some teams call it good guy, some teams call it stand-up guy. I think media appreciation. We appreciate the professionalism of the player, the accessibility of the player, the honesty of the player. Right? It's something that other markets have done. We haven't done it in Philly. I think it's fair to say I kind of pushed for us to do it in Philly, and we are doing it in Philly this year. So we had voting. I ran a very democratic process.
Ranked choice voting, which could it's maneuvered.
Yeah.
But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So I did a voting. We came up with first place, second place, third place. Then I said, okay, I'm going to buy an award. Okay. Like I didn't know if you just shake their hand and congratulate them. I didn't know if you give them a certificate, which I actually might end up doing. But I was like, you know what? We'll present them an award. And so I first went to buy a trophy. Okay. And I bought a trophy. And it's a trophy of a microphone. Because I thought, because you type in, you get a football, but it's not a football award. You can get like just like a cup. But I thought that would be kind of like self-aggrandizing to like the media cup, right? There's different. It could be like a diamond. But then I typed in, microphone, and so it's a microphone award. It was a trophy of a microphone.
Nice.
A trophy of a microphone. I thought that was kind of cool, right? It's like they're talking into microphones. Some people, some people saw when I was excited for this trophy. I showed a screenshot of the trophy to some other people who it had interpretations of it that wwill certainly not my intention for how one could say I'll defer to Bo in terms of like the description for it.
They thought it was too phallic.
Yeah, I was going to say we're talking about a penis.
Right? I got to tell you, I don't have sophomoric thinking. I see a microphone and I see a microphone. Okay, I don't think anything else when I see a microphone. Apparently, some others do. That's their prerogative.
Well, they're cousins in shape.
So then I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get a plaque. All right, and I got a plaque, and it's a really nice plaque. I thought you designed it, but I've never purchased a plaque before, and so I just picked the default option. There are 4 options, and now look, I was price conscious, but like I wasn't being cheap here. I just went with the first option here, and then I typed it out. And so I got a plaque, and it comes yesterday in the mail. I got this thing overnighted to me. Okay, like hey, the shipping's more than the plaque at this point. The plaque comes, and like I'm not a tall guy. I'm not a big guy, and I can put this plaque in my pocket. So I can only
What? No, you know
it's a small plaque. It's a small plaque.
We're talking like 2 by 4 inches?
Not 2 by 4, but we're talking like 4 by 6.
You got an iPhone plaque.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, I know it's bigger than the iPhone. But
do you have it on you?
Yeah. What's that?
Do you have it on you?
Okay. Yeah, no, I don't. But if you take this book here, it's probably about the size of this book here.
Yeah.
Anyways, so now I'm at a decision point here. All right, I'm invested in this plaque. This is a nice plaque, but there's concern about about me presenting said plaque. So I'm thinking maybe I get like a nice certificate. Okay, a nice certificate with with a leather back to it that you can present. I was looking it up today. I can go to. I don't need to give anyone free advertising here. I can go to a local office supply store, can get that done. But then I'm seeing we're expecting like 4 inches of snow tomorrow, right? So I don't know how that factors into things.
School's already canceled.
I'm going to try to go there.
Yeah.
So I am going to, if I could get to this local supply store tomorrow, I'm gonna get this certificate, and I'll have the corresponding plaque. Now the trophy
I think
company
you should give him all 3
I'm not giving the trophy.
to show how much you worked hard to reward this.
But
person.
I gotta say, it's like no good deed goes unpunished. Like I mean, my wife's gonna see all these credit card charges for like random award things.
God knows what that trophy was listed under.
Yeah.
What was the totality of votes going into the decision? How many people voted in this?
16 votes for this. 16 votes. Everyone submitted 3 names.
Okay.
One person only submitted 1 name, and then first place got 3 points. Second place got 2 points. Third place got 1 point.
Vinny, what would you rather have if you were the good guy award?
Yeah.
Would you rather get the certificate, the small plaque, or the phallic trophy?
I'm greedy. Give me all 3.
Yeah, give them all 3.
I think the person might get a kick out of everything that went into having all 3.
The trophy's already returned, but I can say this because I don't know if it was Fran or Jamie. I think it was Fran that said, "What's the trophy listed under?" I can tell you that the trophy came to my house before I got home. Emily, my wife, opened it, and she wanted to know why I bought a trophy. She thought like I bought a trophy for myself because this trophy didn't have.
It's a microphone.
The plaque had, yeah. She thought like I bought myself. She thought like I bought myself a trophy, so she was a little confused by it. But when I told her why we're not going forward with the trophy, she was like mystified for the same reason I was. Like the sophomore humor of some of the.
It wasn't me, by the way.
No, but you agreed with it.
I certainly did agree. Yes.
Yes, okay.
Speaking of which, you mentioned, I got to say, we were tagged. Bad news for the memories that you and Vinny share. I saw that Raw is closing.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's shame for the Philadelphia sushi scene, that's for sure.
Dang. Why? Damn, come on.
Zach,
Raw.
some breaking news. Gerard Mayo just canned. Didn't take long.
Wow.
Jeez.
That's a shame. I mean, well, look, that's the nature of the job. It's the nature of the business. But my guess is New England is seeing Vrabel get interviews and they want to act quickly. Is my guess. But yeah, I'm curious to see what.
How many coaches get fired tomorrow?
Usually it's around 6, right? 5 to 6.
Well, yeah, because there's 2 already.
There's 2 already
mid-season.
Yeah,
this is 3. I think probably 3 or 4 more.
Jacksonville.
Wow.
Yeah,
Dougie P.
The team already put a statement on everything. So
yeah.
it was
That's tough.
They had that drafted.
Did they win too?
Patriots, yeah.
Yeah,
Doug
they won.
Yeah, they lost number one pick.
They lost number one pick.
Oh, interesting.
It was a little Lovie Smith situation, right?
Yeah.
Where he wins, keeps them from getting the number one pick, and then gets fired.
Yeah, that's right.
But a few just quick things from the locker room here. Dallas Goedert, the reason he played is they felt he needed to get some work. He's missed a lot of time, obviously. Jordan Davis played because they can't sit everybody. They try to get him the normal amount of snaps though, which were around there, which surprised me a bit. They thought I didn't get to talk to Jahan Dotson. Tanner McKee was talking at the same time, but yeah, I know from guys in the locker room they were real pumped about Jahan Dotson's performance. Look, he hasn't been nearly as productive as I think they expected going into the year. Now, some of that could be the fact that they're obviously not passing the ball very much, but I don't want to hear when talking about Jahan Dotson's lack of production this year that, he's behind A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. There was a period of time back middle of the season when Devontae missed a few games. Jahan did not, take a step up during that period, right? But for him to have the game that he had today, I thought speaks to Jahan Dotson and should give the Eagles a little more confidence. I think this was I understand that the New York Giants, it benefits them to lose this game. I think organizationally, this game speaks a lot about the difference between the Eagles and the Giants. The fact that the Eagles played their backups, the Giants had starters on the field, and the Giants were barely competitive with the Eagles. You can say there was a motivational difference, like the Giants aren't playing for anything, but still, like the Eagles' backups look better than the Giants, and I think the way that the Eagles blocked at the line of scrimmage, I think is a credit to Jeff Stoutland and some of the reserve offensive linemen that the Eagles have. I mean, I'll defer to Fran, and I'm going to go back and watch the film myself. Though honestly, I'm not going to watch a lot of this game. But I thought the offensive line held up well. Really impressed with Tanner's performance. Defensively, Sidney Brown got that pick at the end. I thought Trotter had a good game, just to the blind eye. I thought he was around the ball. There was one time where he was swarming. The guy, I think it was 17, Robinson, just didn't pull in the catch because Trotter was right there. Didn't see enough from Huff or Hunt to really give you any details there. But I thought in the locker room there was a lot of people were happy with the way that Jahan Dotson played.
Hey, what do you think about so on the TV copy we were saying that Jordan Davis he really flashed out there to us,
Yeah.
What I mean by that is, amongst the peers when he's next to Jalen and Milton and those guys, he really don't get the praise of just doing his job. But I thought today he definitely flashed.
Well said. Yeah, he made a few plays. You guys had Nick, I assume, on, and Nick talked about him chasing down a screen. I thought he was active out there. I thought that he was clogging up the middle. Giants weren't really running the ball when he was on the field very well, and I thought that he was more noticeable today, and perhaps that's because Jalen Carter's always noticeable, right? But no, it's and I think it says something to him or about him that he was playing those snaps. He wasn't complaining about it. He was in a good mood in the locker room afterwards. That's a good observation.
Last one for me, Zach. We see Reed in the chat. I wanted to give a shout out to just the Eagles fans who braved the cold for this game, an otherwise meaningless game, and we're out there making it happen.
Yeah, seriously. Credit to those fans. Now, Reed, my son's one of them, and he is a great grandfather. My father-in-law took him to this game, and I was looking through my binoculars. I was feeling for my father-in-law watching that game, man. I'm in the press box, and I'm like, they need a little better insulation here, right? And they, it was cold. The walk from the car, and it's the wind, as Vinny can tell you, when you're on that field here, the cold weather is one thing, but when it's windy, you really feel it there. And the uprights in this corner here, actually where Jake Elliott missed the field goal, in that corner, the uprights were literally shaking. The goalpost was shaking at one point. It was windy out there. I don't know if that contributed to Jake Elliott's miss or not, but credit to those fans who came out. I am not a weather person. I'll play one on PHLY. I see that it's supposed to be in the high 30s Saturday, Sunday next week. Although if it's a night game, you're looking at the 20s. But it's not going to be like this. And part of playing meaningful home football, a January football in Philly is cold weather. I mean, I think of all the playoff games that I covered, you often get cold weather. Yeah, I mean, for those fans to be out there in a game, I don't want to call it a meaningless game because it's meaningful for Tanner McKee and Jahan Dotson go on down the list, but a game that doesn't have postseason implications and without the starters, credit to those fans.
Zach, I got one more for you. What is your official snowfall prediction for tonight? How many inches do we get? And 2, as a follow-up to that, what's ZB's sledding style? Are you a saucer man? Do you get in the toboggan? Are you going to get out on a hill tomorrow with the kids if there's a snow day?
Can we just set the over-under at the size of the plaque for the amount of snow?
That's a great line.
It's going to be smaller than the plaque. It's going to be. It's not going. I mean, let's.
What's your official prediction here? 2 inches?
I saw Vinny's message, and so I'm sorry, not Vinny. I saw Vince's message in Slack. So yeah, let's go 2 inches.
Okay.
I hope it's not like I want the kids to be at school tomorrow.
Yeah.
I got
holiday break is long. I'm with you, man. Get these kids back to school.
My school's already been called.
Yeah, Philly's already been called.
And then, oh man, and then
you're toast, Zach. Are you going to get on the hill?
No, I will not. Tomorrow's a work day for me, no matter what.
Come on.
Yeah, but
tomorrow's a work
you can be at home. You can get some morning sledding in.
No, I mean, look,
you act like you don't know the guy.
Yeah. This is
Jamie,
Zach
I have a
Berman.
race.
Zach, this is Jamie Lynch.
I mean, Emily already says that I share too many conversations on the show. For someone who prides himself on being private, she's probably right. But I will share this one conversation. I told Bo this. I was in one of those moods a week and a half ago where I'm like, the playoffs are coming. I got to raise my performance. Emily, like, I'm not going to be around. Like, I'm going to be writing every night. I need to have good original stories. I need to do all this. And she looks at me. She's like, "You're not playing in the playoffs, right?" That's kind of like, yeah. I mean, I have a Google sheet of 4 stories that I want to write this week, 4 stories that I want to write next week going into the divisional round. This is the kind of year where you can't take them with you, right? So if you have a good idea, you got to write it, and if you don't write it, you're going to read it. And so, yeah, I mean, and then we have to have great shows. So yeah, no,
Zach, but you can carve an hour out to get on the hill.
No, I'll give Reed the PS5 controller tomorrow, and he can play all the video games he wants. It's a school day. If it's a snow day, I will be doing the show. Yeah.
I still didn't answer if you're a saucer man or the more toboggan.
I haven't done a sled since middle school. We used to do the back of the trash cans. The back of the trash cans. Is that a saucer?
Let's PHLY Eagles sledding day. Let's go.
Yeah.
Zach, we met another one of your high school classmates today.
Yeah, Tim Stoutzenberger was here.
Oh, okay, nice. Stouts, good running back in the day, or linebacker, good linebacker back in the day.
He's a meat.
Yeah.
He was a tall drink of water.
Yeah.
I did the back of the trash can.
Okay, so you're a saucer man. Yeah. All right, fair enough.
The back of the trash can? You mean the lid?
The
of the
lid,
trash
yeah.
can?
The trash can.
I know
the lid, yeah. The back of the lid. The back of the lid.
Yeah. You're a saucer.
You turn the lid inside out.
Yeah, the inside
of the lid. You go down. Yeah, the inside of the lid. Yeah.
All
right, Zach. Good stuff. Good luck writing. We'll read it on allphly.com, and we will talk to you tomorrow at 2:00.
Yeah, writing about Tanner McKee. That's going to be what I write, and then I'll have a day 2 story, kind of looking ahead at the postseason. Got some good stories coming up this week on. I got a piece coming up on Nick Sirianni, and some other stuff that I've been working on. So make sure you're diehard on allphly.com.
Oh, Zach, before you get out of here, Eagles officially open as a 3.5-point favorite. I know you're keen on the line, so there you go.
Yeah. So and what's the over under? Do you know?
I did not.
3.5 inches.
Zach's already got his prediction set.
46 and a half. 46 and a half.
What's 46 and a half? All right. So we will go with 24-21. Okay.
Nice.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
Thanks. All right. Let's wrap this bad boy up. The Eagles close out the regular season with a 20-13 win over the New York Giants. Tanner McKee stars, makes his late MVP case. The Eagles finish 14-3 and will play the Green Bay Packers.
I love it.
Next weekend. Should be a great game.
Do you ever get the feeling like when you play a franchise or an organization, this is probably more like rooted for you, like you just got them? Something about the Packers to me feels good. Like I like the Eagles versus the Packers. Just historically, the vibe to it. I don't know. I just feel it.
I think I'll feel that on Tuesday when I see Jalen practice.
Yeah.
I got to see him practice.
It's Wednesday, right? We won't even know until Wednesday.
It is a little fishy, isn't it?
We better, like, what you're hoping for as an Eagles fan is like the National Reporter report tomorrow morning that, like, you know, Mike Garafolo says Jalen Hurts has been cleared in the concussion protocol and is ready to go this week. Like,
so
if it lasts until Wednesday and like nobody has reported anything, that is a bit of a concern.
My question for you, Bo, is on Wednesday, if the story has not come out, will you go irritate Sirianni again? Will you be that man?
Well, obviously everybody has
Well,
to.
need
Like,
to, yeah.
Like,
But are you going to like chomp at the bit to get that chance? Because he particularly was schneid towards you on
which
Friday.
is fine. He's allowed to. We've all got jobs to do, but I'm not going to let it hang out there and not have a follow up. Like, you know, the question.
Are you going to fight for that?
The
first
question
one?
needs to be asked. No.
Okay.
I don't view my role as like I got to be first. But if there's an obvious follow up to be asked, I'm going to try to ask the follow up. He's allowed to be snippy. That's totally fine.
Yeah.
But everybody wants to know what's going on with the quarterback.
To Zach's point, like he needs to get over being annoyed by the question. Like it's clearly the number one question with this team.
Yeah.
He can't get annoyed by it. Like,
I mean, he says he understands, but like,
no,
I get it.
He does, but he doesn't.
We'll see how this week goes. Fran, let's start with you. Final thoughts. How are you feeling about this week? And I guess give me this. What's your before we head into the playoffs, where like the entire narrative of this season is going to be written and how we're going to really remember the Eagles team at the close of the regular season. Close your eyes. What is your lasting memory?
I would say lasting memory would be Saquon Barkley rushing for 2,000 yards and this defense finishing as the number one defense in football. I mean, that's an easy thing to remember this season by. This is one of the most talented teams we've seen in recent memory here in Philadelphia. Now it's going to be determined, okay, well, what do they do in the postseason?
Okay, Jamie?
Most iconic moment is we have a shirt about it. Saquon backwards hurdling a man.
I mean,
it's
that's the flashbulb moment for sure.
Yeah, it's something you're going to be looking back on in the Super Bowl. I guess not even DVD. What do you downloadable movie in years from now?
Yeah.
Saquon backwards hurdling somebody. I've never seen that before. Iconic moment from the year, and will live forever in Eagles lore.
Vinny?
I would say the Saquon Barkley rushing for 2,000 yards and then the sleeping commercial to go with it.
Oh, Unisom.
Ooh,
Please
give us one to close out the regular season.
Saquon MVP. I told y'all that week 2, by the way.
It's true.
Since week
Nobody
2,
has been more all over Saquon than you.
Man, I'm telling you.
I mean, the Saquon, that was week 1, right? Wasn't that Sao Paulo?
Week 1.
After the touchdown catch.
Yeah, that was, bruh. He cold. Congratulations to you, Saquon. Got the Russian title.
Yeah.
You know,
And now that Brazil's 18 weeks removed, it was pretty cool.
It was
like
cool.
when you look back on it, like pretty cool.
Yeah.
Zach got to have great sushi down there.
That's right. Mall sushi. And then obviously for me, it will be the introduction of Tanner McKee as one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and his introduction to Canton. It has begun. We will all remember, especially this game. Okay. That'll do it for the last PHLY Eagles postgame show of the regular season. Very excited to turn it up for the playoffs next week as the Eagles welcome in the Green Bay Packers. We've got all kinds of shows for you this week. I think we're going to do an extra show. We're going to go 6 shows this week, sprinkle an extra one in there ahead of the playoffs. And so for Vinny Curry, Jamie Lynch, Fran Duffy, Julia making it happen, all of you sickos in the chat, we will talk to you tomorrow. Thanks for watching and listening. Check out the PHLY store for all those Saquon swag. And like, subscribe, all that good stuff. We will talk to you later. And as always, we love you.
We all silly like the mayor.